Welcome to mt4gadgets.com and this new video where we talk about arrays. Arrays is one of those concepts that if you are a beginner programmer or you're just getting started with coding, might take some time to understand. It's not the most straightforward concept, and you'll see that probably with some examples you'll start understanding it, but the theory behind it might not be as simple as a variable or a constant. Starting with the definition of an array in MQL5 is a collection of elements of the same data type, and they are stored under one name. So if we want to break it down, this definition, or try to word it in a bit different way to try to understand it, is basically you can see an array as a variable that contains a sequence of information which are of the same data type. We'll see some examples that probably will clarify better how this definition works. Let's go into some coding. Okay, here we are in MetaEditor again, and we'll see some examples of working with arrays. I created a new file. This is a script, and we just start commenting some examples of arrays. So what did we say again? We said that an array is a variable that contains a sequence of information of the same data type. So starting with that, we said it's a variable of information with same data type. So same as a variable, we need to declare a variable of a data type. So in this case, we want to create an array of double values. So the array will be of double type. We can call it prices, and to tell the program that this is an array, we need to use square brackets. That will tell the code that prices is an array. So it will be a sequence of numbers or double numbers. In this case, we haven't said how long is the sequence. Probably that's, if you already know how long is going to be the sequence, you can already say this will be an array or a sequence of 3 double numbers. So in this case, we have an array with 3 double numbers. We haven't specified what the numbers are yet. So we said that we're going to give 3 values. So together with the declaration, we can also assign the values of the arrays. We start with some random numbers like 1.7, 1.9, and 2.1, and we close the brackets. And if we compile it, we can see that we have declared a double type prices array with 3 double numbers and assign the 3 double numbers together with the declaration. This is the basics. This is the basic behind declaring an array and assigning the value at the same time. So how to use an array? The use of array comes with the understanding of also the index. So the index tells you which element of the array you are going to action upon. So in this array, we know we have three elements. The first element or the first position of the array, the one more on the left, is going to be your index number 0, because array indexing always starts at 0. The second element will be the number 1, and the third element is going to be number 2. I know it might not be super intuitive because the number doesn't actually correspond to the index, but it's just because you lose 1 unit because we start from 0. So 1.7 is number 0, index number 0, 1.1 is index number 1, and 2.1 is index number 2. And if you want to use or print the value of one of the values there, you would say price is 0. This is how you retrieve the value of one of the information corresponding to which index you want to retrieve. So if we compile this and we run it, arrays, we print the value of the array, which is 1.7, which is corresponding to the first array in the sequence. This was an array of double type. You could have also arrays of Boolean type or arrays of string type. So let's see a string type array, string sentence, which is going to include 5 words. And we're going to define the 5 words as hello, how are you doing? So we have defined a new array of string type. The name of the array is sentence, and it contains 5 values, and it's 5 string values. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 values. Again, the indexing of the array starts from 0. So this will be the element of index 0. This will be the element of index 1, element of index 2, 3, and 4. And if we want to visualize in a different way, we can also try with a for loop, for example. And we can say for int e equals 0, and we have seen the loop operators in a separate video. If int e equals 0, int as smaller than, and this is a very good function, array size is a function that will give you the size of the array sentence. So array size will return the size of the sentence array, which is 5. And then increment I at each iteration. And then we want to print the value of sentence at index I. And we could actually do it a bit better, showing both the element of array sentence at index I is sentence. So basically we are printing the sentence, the element of array sentence at index, and this is the index I, the value of I is, and return the value of the array at that index. So if we compile and run it, we should see the different elements of the array in different lines, because the print function prints the sentence on different lines, and this is repeated 5 times. So we've got 1.7, which is the previous print in there, and then we have a loop, a for loop that repeats for each element in the array. It says the element of array sentence at index 0 is hello, and then how, and then are, and then you doing, because it's extracting one by one the elements of the array. Some of the recommendation or best practices around arrays. Arrays are very frequently used when you need to scan through price data or through bars or time or orders. You will see that as you become more familiar with MetaTrader programming, arrays will be very frequently used. So often you'll use it for price data, time data, orders, and similar. Something or some good ways to interact with arrays is often through loops, like we did in this case with the for loop. Loop operator will be your friends working with arrays. Maybe more advanced concept is multidimensional arrays, which probably is too complex to go through in this example, but just know that you can create a multidimensional array which has multi-dimensions. So it means it's not only a sequence, like a linear sequence like this one, but it has 2 dimensions. It becomes similar to a matrix. Don't worry if you don't understand it at this stage. It's not super important, and it, to be honest, is not used that frequently. One important aspect of arrays is, even if you debug and you compile code correctly, you need to verify that when you are running your program, your arrays stays between the boundaries. So, for example, in this case, if we were to just add an equal there, the code will still compile, but we know that this sentence array has 5 elements only, and this I element at some point will become 5. 5 is not a valid index because we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Up to 4 is the index. 5 is not a valid index. So if we were to run this code with the equal, the program will terminate with an error because we went with an index outside of the boundary of the array, and this is what happens. So just make sure that when you work with arrays, you test your code thoroughly, because it's a very common issue getting out of the boundaries of an array. To recap, in this video we learned more about arrays, the basic concept, which is a collection or a sequence of information of the same type, and it's similar to a variable. How to declare an array, how many elements It has how to retrieve the element at the specific index, how the index works, and some creative way to scan through a full array. Hopefully that was a good lesson and you learned something new. If you haven't already, come and visit us at mt4gadgets.com, and I hope to see you soon.